extremely excited to be here, not only because this is a great, great bookstore with which I've had a relationship now for the better part of, what, 20 years, something like that, with the store and with the partners in Partners in Crime, and also because I can't think of a better book to launch. This is the first time in the history of Hard Case Crime that we've actually had a book launch party. We've been around for 4.5 years, we've published 40 books, this is the 40th, but we have never gone out into the public. We've had events where we did readings and so forth, but where we said, this is important enough that we're going to make an announcement. We're going to make this a red letter day, circle it on the calendar and say, there's something special here.
Free booze.
Free wasabi. And so what's the story here? I think the first time I crossed paths with you, although it turned out that we knew people in common for many years, we didn't know that.
Absolutely.
First time I crossed paths with you, I was doing an ego search on Google. I do this because I'm shameless, and so every day I search for Hard Case Crime and Ardai and all my relatives. And I found a blog post where you were complimenting the work of Richard S. Prather.
Well, I was excited about the reissue of The Peddler, and I was all girly and gushing, and oh my god, I can't believe I'm so excited.
And somebody else, not me, sent you
a friend of mine
posted something
yes.
saying you ought to get to know the work of Hard Case Crime, or you ought to send them a book of your own.
Yeah, they're a perfect match, you should submit, and
so I thought that was a good idea, and I posted. Now, I don't think you had an email. You did have an email address, but I was lazy, and so I posted in your blog that if you ever did care to write a book of this sort, I'd love to read it. Now, I had no idea what I was going to get. Generally, when I say things like that, I regret it, because people who love this kind of work don't necessarily have the ability to produce it. But lo and behold, I get a manuscript back, and the manuscript opens with a naked woman bound up in the trunk of a car, shot almost to death but not quite, bleeding almost to death but not quite, kicking her way out of the car and deciding she was going to take revenge on all the men in the world who did this to her. There are only 4 or 5, but it kind of feels like all the men in the world sometimes. And I said, this is great. All this book has to do is not go downhill. If it maintains the quality of the opening chapter for the rest of the book, I'll be happy, and it did. So I couldn't be happier to publish it. Hard Case Crime couldn't be happier. Dorchester Publishing, our partners in the publishing enterprise, of which we have one representative here, couldn't be happier. And I will turn the floor over to Christa, but this is a very special book for us, and we're very excited.
Yay.
now see, he's so much better at this kind of thing than I am, because I don't have like any kind of suave, cool speech planned or anything exciting or interesting to say. So I think that I'm going to just completely cop out and open it up to Q&A, because I'm sure that there are people in this audience who are not as blonde as I am, who might have something that they want to know about, something that they want to talk about, something they'd like to ask about. Any people who aren't shy out there? Anybody in the back? Don't make me come out there and get you. Yes, Miss Lauren Reed.
Do you write film as well as novels, or it seemed very cinematographic when I was reading the excerpts? So.
Well, thank you. I haven't written a screenplay yet. I did a project that was called Dita in Distress, which was a serial. It was a kind of a campy send-up of the sort of 1930s Republic damsel in distress kind of serials, you know, in which every episode ends in a cliffhanger. Will our heroine escape her unspeakable fate? Don't miss the next exciting episode. And that was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot on that shoot. Boy, I had a great crew, but we basically did everything with 5 cents, made everything out of spit and string, and my star, Dita Von Teese, who's gone on to great fame as Queen of Burlesque, and Mrs. Marilyn Manson, although that apparently is no longer, was phenomenal, and I couldn't have done it without her either. So that's my one and only film experience so far, but, you know, hey, never know.